Hello everyone on Tricycle. My name is Emma. I'm the editorial assistant at Tricycle. You might have seen me popping around the blog or something like that. Today I'm here with Andrew Mellen, and we're going to talk about a issue that's important no matter what faith you are. If you're a Buddhist, if you're a Jew, if you're Christian, doesn't matter. We're here to talk about cleaning and organizing. So we're here with Andrew Mellen, who is a professional organizer. And
that's me.
That's Andrew. And also the author of Unstuff Your Life, which is his book, and also an article that was in a Tricycle issue, last issue.
The spring issue,
yes,
right?
The spring issue, yep. So Andrew, I'm going to turn my apartment over to your capable hands.
Excellent.
And maybe you can just tell me where we should start in this debacle of an apartment.
Well, I think where we're going to start is in your bedroom.
Okay.
And the two areas that you mentioned were the biggest concern to you were your desk area and also your little sweet meditation spot. So we'll turn our attention to both of those spots and see what we can do to crisp them up for you and make some sense out of them. And for anybody who's interested in getting organized, you want to think about two things always. There's always the historic clutter or accumulation of stuff that you're going to deal with, which is separate from building new habits and creating new ways of interacting with your stuff. So you just want to be mindful that the clutter is not going to go away just because you start to apply these principles and go forward. More clutter won't accumulate, which is great, but we want to be sure not to set ourselves up for failure or disappointment when the historic clutter doesn't just magically go away because we're doing something else. So you want to balance the dissipation of the historic clutter with the building of the new habits. So that's something for you to keep in mind as you're applying the principles of the organizational triangle, which is one home for everything, like with like, and something in, something out.
Okay.
So that as you apply that, no new clutter will accumulate and things will start to find their places in their homes.
Okay.
But you'll still have, as you go through drawers, as you go through surfaces, you're going to discover, oh, now this has no home. I have to find a home for it. And I need to put it with its brothers and sisters. That's the like with like part.
All right, well, let's see what Andrew can do to help me out with my various issues that are going on here.
Excellent. Let's head in there and see.
So here we are at my desk. I think it's probably the most problematic area. As you can see, I have a lot of books, know where to put them.
Yeah, no, it's chaotic, and
yes.
So we're gonna deal with that. So again, we're gonna come back to the organizational triangle.
Okay.
Okay, one home for everything, like with like, something in, something out. We're gonna deal with something in, something out, and reaching stuff equilibrium last.
All right.
The first thing we're gonna do is just talk about the stuff that you have and assigning it a home and putting like things with like things.
Okay.
So I mean, you have a sort of like a vague practice of one home for everything and like with like, and that you've assembled a lot of the books in one location, although this is a peculiar way to stack your books. But they're at least all together, a lot of them are together, so that's a good thing. I mean, the towels don't really belong here.
No.
The towels really want to go with wherever the towels live.
So the towels don't have anywhere to live.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
So when you bring your laundry home, where do the towels go?
There.
Right. Okay. So if this needs to be the home for the towels, then we need to segregate a little corner for the towels, and that's fine. We'll do that. That's fine.
Okay.
So let's just grab the books down.
All right.
I see your passport is laying on your desk.
Yes.
That's not really the home for the passport. We don't want to lose the passport.
No, that's.
In case we have to flee the country.
I've already lost one passport.
Okay.
So,
so we need someplace that is very special, where you will always go to look for the passport, where you will not have to. It's not in competition for other things like your linens or things in your drawers, where it could possibly go missing. So we're just gonna, right. So this is not to shame you, but just to be clear, like when we open something up, we don't want to just leave things laying around. I mean, particularly when you're managing a small space. So again, there's no judgment here. I just want you to really get that you don't do yourself a service. It's not self-care to leave this laying around when there's such limited space that everything could negatively impact your comfort in this space. So this doesn't need to be there, and we can actually...
This bottom drawer is socks.
Either you create a basket that is the basket for socks.
Okay.
Because they're soft and don't really need to be in a drawer.
Right.
Also, this is your desk, and it seems like a crazy place to have a subwoofer. So I'm going to suggest that, like this kind of a container, We have something like that for random candy and chewing gum and things like that. This is from the purchase of an article of clothing. Here, this is a needle. Do we have like a sewing kit someplace?
Yes. Oh.
Great. Let's get that in there before it ends up in somebody's hand. Do we have like a little box or a little bin or something that we can keep photos in? Do I have to call your mother and tell her that you're not taking your vitamins every day?
Don't tell her that. She'll be very upset.
So now, is this our boyfriend?
Yeah, that's a bad picture.
Okay.
This is a nicer picture this way because I took it.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay. So maybe we'll have that one facing out, and we'll put these two here, and we'll stop shaming him every time he comes to visit you. Maybe that's why he doesn't come so often to collect his cameras, because every time he comes here, he has to look at himself in a photo that's unflattering.
That's the best stuff.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Was this a very special rave that you went to?
I don't know what that's from.
So here's a bookmark. Do you use that bookmark when you're reading? That's
no.
a thumb drive. Do we need that?
No. That's an old planner that I can throw away.
Okay, you don't keep them as records of things that you've done. I mean, it's fine.
No, it's not even mine.
Oh, there you go. There is no jewelry in here. Does jewelry need to go back in here?
No, I was keeping that in case I wanted to gift something in the future, but.
Mm-hmm. Do you have something in the future planned?
No.
Right.
Okay.
So there you go. That's the answer to the question. Really, is someday doesn't exist.
Okay.
By the time you're ready to buy a piece of jewelry to give to somebody, unless you're getting it at like a street fair, it will come with a box.
That's true.
All right, here's a 2003 calendar from the Hubble Space Telescope.
I have that because I think the pictures are nice, and I was thinking about hanging them up someday.
Uh-huh. Okay. Just for the audience to recognize, she did get an A on this paper, even though it doesn't have a home. She did get an A, so she's a good student. So, do we have a little bin or container where technology lives?
It has a little in here.
Okay. So, I don't like this.
I didn't think you would.
I would rather see this be in some sort of a container, like a little tub or a basket, so that it's easier to interact with.
Okay.
First of all, it's we're giving up good storage space at our desk for this, so it has to be really important that we want to be interacting with this a lot.
Okay.
And if we're not, then it wants to go someplace less prime. You know, when you think of, I mean, you've heard that phrase before when they talk about real estate, you know, location, location, location. So when we're thinking about our homes, we want to be focused on that as well. Where do we spend the most time, and what do we want to give up for that to be the most functional space that it can be? I don't have a big agenda around the containers, but we actually have this. So what can we use it for if we need to use something to store stuff in? What are you doing, just sort of randomly shoving that in there?
So I hope everyone enjoyed watching me get embarrassed by cleaning my desk. No, I'm joking. So here we are at my new clean desk. I'm very excited about it. I hope that it stays this clean for a while, which I know depends on me. But I hope that we can all take something away from this. You know, like we Buddhists like to talk a lot about having a calm mind, having a still mind. But it's so much easier to have a calm and still mind when you don't have things, you know, in the external world popping up to bother you. Like what Andrew was saying, when you're late to work, if you can't find your keys, you know, it's hard to have a calm mind when you're rushing around, like, red in the face and you're worried that your boss is going to fire you. So, Andrew, if you want to maybe some of the tips that our Tricycle members can take away with them in attacking their own clutter.
Sure. Well, the thing to remember is, again, the organizational triangle, one home for everything, like with like, something in, something out. Once you have enough of everything that serves you and nothing that doesn't, it's all about achieving stuff equilibrium, and then you're not augmenting. So that foundation will help you to keep, you know, to deal with historic clutter as well as keep things organized going forward. Now that everything has a home, you should be able to put it back in its home. And if you don't put it back in its home, it should seem odd that it isn't in its home, because now you have a different experience. So you're aware of where its home is. The other thing to keep in mind is if somebody doesn't have the benefit of me being on site to help them, to start at the place that makes them the craziest, where the least comfort and quiet is. That's the place to attack first, because that's where you're going to experience the greatest relief once it's been addressed. And the two tools to use when you do that are a camera, whether it's your phone or an actual camera, to take before pictures and after pictures, and a timer. And I talk about this in the article in Tricycle as well. It's really important. Failure breeds failure. success breeds success. So set the timer for whether it's 15 minutes or 3 hours. When the timer goes off, if you've actually completed the task, whatever it was in that allotted amount of time, you end on a high note because you've actually completed the task in the time allotted. So the next time you come back to do another bout of the work, you have that to build off of. So that lays the foundation. And the camera is because our feelings will lie to us. We will do a lot of work and we will look around and say, nothing really got done. Because that's what we're feeling, because there's still so much more to do. But the camera will not lie, and it will actually show you from point A to point B, change did occur. So I don't have to rely on my own senses to determine whether I've actually made progress. I can look at the picture and say, yes, I don't feel any different, but I can see that the space is different, so I can have some more confidence and motivation going forward to attack it the next day.
So do you think, like when you're saying with setting a timer and setting a task so you can complete the task, that sometimes it might be wiser to not say, I'm going to clean my entire desk, but maybe I'm going to clean this part of my desk, or I'm going to clean that part of my desk, so then you can feel like you've really completed something, you've been successful at something?
Yes, well, and again, going back to the timer, the idea is to quantify it rather than even, I'm going to clean this area, I'm going to clean my desk for 15 minutes. Whatever I get done, whether I move 7 things or 700 things, I worked for 15 minutes. I really worked for 15 minutes. I didn't get lost in the papers or starting to read a magazine or calling a friend or answering an email. I actually worked. The task is the timer. So that if every task has a beginning and an end, the end of the task is when the timer goes off, because this could take you 7 hours or it could take you 7 minutes. So you don't really want to set yourself up for doing something based on quantity as much as duration. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Alright, well I hope everyone enjoyed that, and let us know if you'd like to see more Tricycle videos, because I always love people coming into my room and helping me out with my life. So, no, I'm kidding. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, bye.